I am Rebecca Adams, and I have with me Becky Vermeire, my faithful sidekick.
Hello.
There we go.
How
And
is even?
I'm doing all right. This is a very, very special episode. So I know I wanted to have like party hats and kazoos and all sorts of things, and
We are streamers.
yeah, I never thought to do that, but this is a huge celebration, folks. This we now have just a little bit over 100 episodes. I think it comes to 102 episodes that we have.
Wow.
I know. Can you believe that's all been done by us? Doesn't seem
How
possible.
about that?
Um,
That's quite a milestone.
it is a huge milestone, and that might be what we title this time on this episode. But for those of you who have never watched one of our episodes before, I'm going to give you Becky's um, uh, her bio. I said I was not going to edit this.
I don't think you should edit it. You need to leave that in.
I think so too.
Let's be uncensored and uncut. What do you think?
Yes, that's what I'm planning on. So we've been doing this for 2 years, and we'll get into that in a minute.
I think it's been 3. I was thinking about that. And I know when you contacted me, I thought it was the end of 2020. Are you sure we didn't start recording in like February, March of 2021?
See, that sounds more like it to
Because
me.
I feel like we'll go through our history, but I feel like the first episode aired in June of 2021.
That sounds right, or June of 2020 even.
I don't think it was 2020. I think it was 2021.
Okay.
But I based that, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I based that on the initial conversation that you and I about potentially even doing that.
Oh, I will never forget that
So I
conversation.
know that I'm positive that we're at the tail end of 20. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we are recording this
Yeah.
on March the 4th of 2024. So it has been several years. We'll leave it there. And we've been doing it.
I'm certain it's been 3. I'm saying 3.
It feels like 5 to me. But it's been a labor of love. But it has also been a toil, I'm not going to lie. It's been work. But I want the viewers to know who you are. And so Becky Vermeire is, I have dubbed her the Queen of Questions. She is the Executive Director for the Crisis Center of Taney County. And are you in your 27th year?
Yes.
Okay, that's
May will start my 28th year, I believe. Yeah, I started when I was 2. It's no problem.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Did your mom send you with pull-ups when you started the job?
I'm a little bit of an overachiever.
Becky is responsible for grant writing, fundraising, programming, staff oversight, and community awareness activities. That paragraph alone makes me tired. So then we go back to her education background. Becky graduated from the College of the Ozarks with a double major. Okay, that just lays me out on the floor. All right. She did it in psychology, philosophy, and religion. Becky has served statewide on the board of directors for the Missouri Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence and held the offices of president and vice president for 4 years consecutively. She has been asked by multiple statewide associations to present training on domestic and sexual violence. Becky has been qualified by the local court system as a domestic violence expert witness and is called upon to provide testimony for the prosecution in domestic violence cases. So we don't have somebody here talking to us that doesn't know what she's saying. And she's not just, she really is not just talking off the cuff. She's got almost 28 years of experience in this. And okay, I will go back to the first. So when we started out, actually before Becky even came on, and I thought, how can I do this? I had been asked to do a TV program, a half an hour, and it scared me. Yeah. But I thought I knew that I needed to do this. It was my heart's cry to do it on the topic of domestic violence education. And I am a survivor of 48 years of domestic violence. And my heart's cry is I don't want anybody else to have to go through this. Or if they are in the midst of it, I want to teach them how to get out, how to escape safely, and how to survive. And not only that, but then how to thrive on their own and live their life successfully. And I thought, okay. So I got all dressed up. I put on my makeup and I got my lighting where I thought it was good, and I set my computer up. And so I talked just kind of off the cuff. It wasn't anything I was going to publish and put out there, but to practice, right? I made it 10 minutes. And I,
Wow.
yeah, that was my knowledge. So it was like, oh, okay, yes, I need to contact Becky. Not going to work. Because I'm an expert on my story, but not on domestic violence as a whole. So I said, no, got to contact Becky. So we arranged it where we set up a phone call, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we talked for 4 hours that day.
It
And
was several hours.
yeah, and the only reason that we had to stop it is because I think I lost power. We had a storm going through it, snowstorm or something.
It was snowing, yeah.
And I don't remember if it was you or me, but I think I lost power, and I said, oh, better cut it, better stop here. And otherwise we could have kept talking. Becky was very on board with doing this with me, and I have been so grateful for all of your input, your teaching, the wonderful resources you've brought to us. It's been fantastic. And I will bounce it back over to you. What do you have to say from the time that I contacted you? I think it was by Facebook. I contacted you on Messenger or something.
You sent me a Facebook message and you said, hey, guess what? I have this opportunity to do this television show. And I'm not certain that I can do it by myself. And I'm looking for somebody who has knowledge about domestic violence. And you said I was the first person. And so I was instantly intrigued. I was instantly on board. I instantly wanted to say yes, but wisdom told me to say, I'm going to think about this. I'm going to reflect on it. I'm going to pray about it, and I'm going to see if this is the right thing for me. And so that's exactly what I did. And it was just a matter of days, I think, when I contacted you back and I said, 100% I'm in. And, the reason for that, there's so many reasons for that. But one of the favorite things that I get to do in my job is I get to educate. If I wasn't on the career path that I was on, my other job that I always wanted to have was like a college professor, because I love to teach. But I like to teach about things that I'm passionate about. And I'm 100% totally impassioned about domestic and sexual violence education. So the other thing that happened, and this is why I remember the timeline, because we're at the tail end of COVID, and what 2020 had done for me in my work is it had taken teaching away from me, because people weren't gathering together in groups. People weren't calling out and saying, hey, will you come talk to us at this function? Nobody was asking for that. So this ability that I loved, this gift that I have where I can teach, was just laying dormant inside of me. And yeah, I was just at that place where things were kind of blah. And so what you did when you contacted me is you gave me hope that I have a new form where I can share the information that's laying inside of me. And so the other thing that it did when we connected in that conversation that day is it took me back to many years ago when I first met you. And when I first met you, you came into the shelter that I operate as a resident there. And we had multiple opportunities to have conversation. Every time I had a conversation with you, I walked away so thankful that we had just had that conversation.
Oh, wow.
Because you were, to me, a person who was like a sponge. Like if I would say something was relevant to the situation that you were in, you would soak that up. And then you would process it and you would think about it and you would go through whatever issue it was that you needed to go through. And then you would come back and say, hey, this is what happened. Right. And so in talking to you, I got to kind of see that growth take place based on the nature of the relationship that we had. So as time went on, you went from being a resident of the shelter, you moved out of the shelter, you went on to live your life and do amazing things. You wrote a book, which is fantastic. And then we reconnected again when you came back post writing the book. And then what was super exciting for me is I got to have a relationship with you at that point that was more, this is a colleague. This isn't somebody who's a resident of the shelter anymore. This is somebody who I can look at as a colleague who has done these things and is now turning around and being asked to do speaking engagements of your own. And now you're wanting to teach about domestic violence. And so it really put us on the same page. And so there's always been, I feel like, that sort of connection between the two of us, that we have a decent rapport, that we can talk about things. And so when you told me the format of how you wanted this television show to work, it was just that. It was you and I sitting and having a conversation, which I've always enjoyed, where we get to talk about something that we're both passionate about, and we get to process through the issues, come out on the other side, and hopefully somebody benefits from it. So it's all the things I love wrapped up into a nice little 30-minute episode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how we got started. And it's kind of evolved from there, obviously, but I mean, those are my initial thoughts when I think about we've done 100 episodes and where we started and how far we've come. We've come a long way, baby.
No kidding. And I don't know if you remember, in between, before I started writing the book, I just had this, I don't even remember where it started, but I wanted to give back to the ladies that
Yes.
you currently had in shelter. And so I became the teddy bear lady.
Yes.
And I collected, and I say this so that other people can get some ideas of what they can do to take it into a shelter, take things into that would be a comfort, you know. So I'm just going to throw this in there real quick. But I collected gently used stuffed animals. Didn't have to be teddy bears, but it was, for the most part, they were teddy bears. And each one came with a card tied onto a ribbon around their neck. And it said something to the effect of, this is yours to keep and to give you comfort, whatever. And there were times I felt really silly about doing that, but then I ran into a lady who was a mutual friend of somebody else. And she said, do you know, I still sleep with my teddy bear that you gave us every single night. And it was like, okay, I was doing the right thing then. That wasn't crazy. It's not crazy.
No, not at all.
I also did, it could also be done for the children, you know, if you wanted to add to the children. But then, like on Valentine's Day is a hard one for women, I think, because we're usually the romantics, you know, or we have the romantic mindset. And so what I did was I started something that very first Valentine's Day, I was alone. And I got a group of women together. The only prerequisite was that you had to be single. Not that, okay, I was still married at the time, my divorce had not gotten through, but I was living as a single woman. So you had to be single. And what it is the requirements were, you had to do three things. You had to go out and buy yourself something that you would want somebody else to buy for you. Then you come to this, wherever we decided to meet, whether it was a pizza place or wherever, and we would all eat Dutch. We'd all pay for our own food. And then while we're sitting around, then you tell why you got that, what you got, and why you bought it for yourself for Valentine's Day. And it got to be so much fun listening to these women. And I'm not going to tell all the stories that were told, but it got to be very funny. And one year I even said, you know, maybe jewelry, candy, a new outfit or a new car or whatever, whatever. The next year we got together and this lady had bought herself a new car. We had done that.
You took it seriously.
Yeah, it was so much fun. And it just kind of created, I don't know, our own little unit that we all understood where we were coming from as single women. So it was so good. So there's so many ideas out there that you can do to help encourage women that are, trying to build themselves up and become better people. So I
Yes.
just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
And you mentioned my book, so I will show you this. If you buy it, it's not going to have all the tabs. I guess
Oh
I can show
no.
you this one. I know this one has 2 tabs, but yours won't even have 2 tabs.
Oh man. I want the tabs.
This is free to store. This is my book, Free to Store by Rebecca Adams. And if you go to our YouTube page, you'll get the correct link, because if you try to look it up on Amazon.com, you will get the first book that was printed in 2011. I went through 2 publishers with that particular version, and both of those publishers went out of business. So I'm with my 3rd publisher, and it's a very long story that I won't go into. Reader's Digest version is go with our link, and then this is the updated version of, updated everything in the book. And so that will get you either a paperback version or the Kindle version. And if you have Kindle, it's free, there's no charge. And then the audiobook is yet to come out. And I will keep everybody posted on Facebook. If you go to my Facebook page, that's Rebecca Adams 92984. Because there's a million Rebecca Adams out there. Just type in 92984 and you'll find me. And I will keep everybody updated as to when that audiobook comes available. So back to you,
That's
Becky.
amazing. I mean, that's amazing, really. A secret ambition of mine has always been to write a book. And so to sit and have a conversation with you as someone in it, and I've seen how it's evolved. I've seen how you've been so vulnerable in writing and told your story. And you have such an incredible story of strength and survival that anyone who would read that would feel empowered, would feel educated, would feel in their current situation, if they were struggling with similar situations to what you went through, would feel like somebody understood. Like, it's just so very well written. It's just so open and transparent. And I can't encourage people enough. Take the time, find the book and read the book. I truly feel like a person will be better because of it. You've done an amazing job putting what you've gone through in writing in such a fancy package. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's a good read. It's well worth the time. And so just what you've done with that and the way that you have talked to people about it and shared the experiences that you've so educational. I'm struggling to find the right words, but it's just incredibly a testament to you and your strength, your courage and survival, and how you've become empowered and on the other side. And so to look at somebody and know where they were and then see where you are today, it's just phenomenal. It's just phenomenal to see the growth that's taken place. So I can't commend you enough. I think you've done an excellent job with it.
Thank you.
So to our viewers, please take the time, read the book. You'll be glad that you did. I firmly believe that.
I appreciate your kind words. You're very sweet. I did forget to tell you folks that it's more than just my story. At this point, when I was writing it, it was over 39 years of domestic violence. Since then, some people don't learn. So it's been 48 years that I've survived. So in the back, there's 2 different sections back there. One has every kind of abuse defined with examples. And then the next section has just a little tiny bit of resources that are available for someone who is wanting to get out of domestic violence and start their lives over again. So I wanted it to be more than just another book on the shelf with another autobiography, yada yada yada. I wanted it to be something different. So that's why I added those things in there as well.
Yeah, it's great that they're in the same place. And so somebody reading your story can say, gosh, I wish I knew who to call. And they can find it in your book as well. And so it's kind of a one-stop shop kind of a thing for somebody who's going through a domestic violence situation. So yeah, the resources are fantastic.
They really are. When you're in that situation, for me anyway, it was like there was this violent tornado going on in my mind all the time and it never slowed down. And you feel like you're trapped and there's no way out, but there is a way of escape. You are truly free to soar. And that's what this bird cage is all about right here. This is an antique bird cage somebody gave me, and I leave the door open so that you can see that those little birds are free to come and go and
Definitely.
free to fly away. You need people that are very knowledgeable in that, such as the Crisis Center, Becky, her staff, other people across the nation and really across the world that can
Yes.
help walk you through those steps of how to successfully escape. Because it's
Yeah.
not just leaving, and we talk about that in so many of our episodes.
Yes.
Please check out our YouTube channel and look at and just see what pops out at you. There's, like I said, there's over 100 full-length videos, and then we have several little short snippets that can give you some good ideas of what you might want to watch.
Yeah. So before we get too far into our conversation, we forgot something.
Do you have a pair of socks to show us?
I know. How'd that happen? I do have a pair of socks to show.
What do you have this time?
I have one of my favorite pairs of socks of all time. And they say, I'm not bossy. You see that?
Yes.
But then they say, uh-oh, there's my filter. I'm the boss.
And did you buy those for yourself?
I honestly think they were a gift now that you ask me that. I'll tell you, there's a story behind it because they were a gift. And I remember the person who bought it before me. There's a story behind that. And we actually did an interview with the person. One of our episodes, we had a couple of people from the shelter come sit with us and we interviewed them. And one of those people was Sunny Roberts. And
Yes.
so I've always been very close to her children. Could have been like Aunt Becky in their lives. And so there was a time her daughter very much to a show that's called Doc McStuffins. It's a Disney cartoon. And it's a weekly show. And so there's a scene in that where they're singing, I'm not bossy, I'm the boss. And so her daughter watched this episode so many times that that song would get stuck in my head. Well, then I kind of adopted that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make it my ringtone because I think it's funny, or I'm going to make it a byline on something because I think it's funny. Well, then lo and behold, Sunny ran across this pair of socks. And so she got them for me. So it's kind of funny because I am the boss. But if you ask the people that work for me, I really am not bossy. And so it's kind of a whole thing. So they're one of my favorite pair of socks.
And just from the time that I went in and out of the crisis center office, I can vouch for that. Becky's not bossy. She's got a great relationship that she keeps her staff buoyed. It's a heavy job to deal with women that are in crisis all the time. And there's just a constant influx of people coming and leaving, and the tragic circumstances that they have to deal with to try to help these residents through. Um, it's not an easy job. It's not something you would just waltz into, and it's not a Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers waltz around the living room kind of a thing at all. And so because we know this topic is heavy, that's why we started talking about Becky's sock collection. And then we added my earring collection.
Earrings. What do you
I,
got going on in your ears tonight?
oh my goodness, you've never seen anything like this in your life. Look at that.
What?
Is that not crazy?
That's super cool. Are those butterflies?
Your butterflies.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Oh, those are awesome.
Aren't
I've never
they?
seen earrings that do that before.
I hadn't either. A friend of mine gave me these. She said, "Oh, you want these?" She said, "I've got like 3 more pair at home." I said, "Thank you." So you know who you are. You know who you are that gave them to me. Thank you. Uh, I love these, and I thought, how perfect is that? Butterflies are free to store too.
Absolutely. Very cool.
Yeah. And I'm
Very
wearing my
cool.
Woman Up shirt. Do you want to talk about
Yes,
the Woman Up shirt line while we're
I
here?
do. So, a woman who has served on my board of directors for multiple years, a few years ago, she said I've created a line of shirts that I want to start selling and donate the proceeds of the shirt sales to the crisis center. And so I had no idea what the shirts even were. And so she approached me and she had created the Woman Up logo, so to speak. And now we have several different articles of clothing, tumblers like cooler cups and different things like that that say Woman Up. And so it's a message of support and empowerment. We hear that all the time. You just need to man up. You just need a man. We're not men. We want a woman up. And women up can be as strong with the stand-up strength that pulling yourself up by the bootstraps, but women do it in a little bit of a different way. And so it's acknowledging that women are incredibly strong beings, but we pull ourselves up in a different way than supposedly by our bootstraps, so to speak. And so she's done a lot of work supporting the crisis center. She created the new logo that's on most of our business cards and clothing and things like that now too. So she's an incredible graphic designer, but we love the Woman Up clothing line.
Well,
So
and
there
speaking of,
should be a link on our YouTube page.
yes, there is.
Get someone to that. If someone's interested in taking a look at the Woman Up line, the link is on our YouTube page channel or channel page, whatever I'm trying to say.
Yes,
Uncut and uncensored, here we go.
here
But
we
it's all
go.
good. And
The
so
best.
please check out our YouTube page if you're interested in ordering anything. If you do, what you purchase will give a donation to the crisis center as well to help women and men and children in need who are fleeing from their lives because of domestic violence.
And it is quite an atmosphere. I lived there for a month, about a month, I think, before I found my own place and moved out. And I could have stayed there longer, and I should have, to save up money. It's what I really should have done, because they don't charge the money, the women rent, and it's an absolutely incredible environment. There's places for the kids to play, and um, it's a wonderful, wonderful place. Here's some more things she gave me, and I'm wearing one of them. This is, I don't know, can you read that or is it too blurry?
Hashtag Crisis Center of Taney County.
Yeah. So she sent me that, and she sent me some stickers too.
That's our logo that she created for us. That one sideways. There you go.
Would help if I got it sitting upright, wouldn't it?
That's our crisis center logo. And if you'll notice, if you're aware of the color scheme in that, the actual ribbon itself has more of a teal color to it than the color it shows in the camera right now. But purple is what you wear for domestic violence advocacy. Teal is what you wear for sexual violence advocacy. And so since we are a dual shelter program that provides services to both people in that scenario, our logo includes both of those colors. So
Awesome.
fantastic. And I'm sure you love the fact that they're birds flying away. They're free to soar. How about that?
I just love it. And I did not notice that until she sent me these.
Mhm.
And I said to Becky, I said, "Oh, there's birds on there." That is so cool. And there are birds on my business card, which is, you'll see it at the end of this program. When you watch it, you'll see my name on my business card, and it has birds flying out of the bird cage. Um, yeah, I just think that's so cool.
You have a picture of that on your forearm, do you?
What's that?
I said you might even have a picture of that on your forearm.
I have the cage, the bird cage,
Yeah.
and that's my business logo. Yep. Yep. Love it. That was so cool to be able to find that. to be able to find it, or actually it came across, it's a long story, but it came across on a podcast I was watching. And so I took it to a tattoo artist and he modified it a little bit, and never thought I'd get a tattoo ever. I said, "Am I the oldest customer you've ever had?" He said, "Oh no, not at all." Of course, he didn't ask me how old I was either.
So you're saying it's possible then?
It's possible that I was the oldest customer he's
But
ever.
probably not.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
One
I don't
little,
think
one little
so.
funny story about a tattoo, just to keep it lighthearted here. So this one lady, is a true story. Okay, this girl, before she got married, she had this little fish tattooed on her stomach. And then, I don't know, a couple of years later, she got married. She was pregnant. She was in the birthing room giving birth. And the doctor noticed it and he said, "I really like that whale you got tattooed on your stomach."
Oh no.
Yes. Can you imagine?
Oh my goodness.
That would be horrible.
So it evolved from a fish to a whale while she was pregnant.
It got all
We
the
know another funny story that goes along with that is my son's name is Jonah. And so I had named him while I was very, very newly, freshly pregnant, like within the first few months or first few weeks of being pregnant. Well, as soon as we found out we were having a boy, we decided on the name Jonah. And so as time went on, like my dad would always greet Jonah before he would even greet me as I got more pregnant and more pregnant. But my sister's favorite thing to do when I would come into the room, especially near the end days of my pregnancy, would be to say, "Hey, here comes Jonah and the whale," because she thought she was super funny like that. So I can empathize with your friend. Yes. She said she referred to me and Jonah and the whale more than one occasion.
And how did you chastise her for that?
Oh, I don't remember. I probably just laughed and it didn't faze me.
That's good.
It didn't faze me. When you grow up in an environment that's full of constant sarcasm, things don't affect you.
Even though it's your twin, right? It still doesn't bother you.
Yeah, my family's sarcasm is our love language, so it doesn't faze me.
I love that. It's fantastic.
Let's talk about the fact that we've hit 100 episodes.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of a big deal.
It is a big deal.
If you had to look back at the last few years and think about the episodes that we have done, what's a couple of your favorite episodes?
The very top one that sticks out in my mind is our interview with Marilee McLean.
Mm-hmm.
That was so powerful. And if you look on our YouTube channel, there's only episodes 2 and 3 out of 3. I apologize profusely. Episode 1 was the most powerful part of it all. And it's gone. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I deleted it by mistake or what happened. I don't know. But what that did was that got me into a routine where whenever we record, I take that full, rough, complete video and I upload that to where we keep things. And then I go and I edit. And then I save episode 1 and episode 2, etc., to that same safe place. But that was probably my most memorable, I would have to say, because it was such a tragic story. And it's a tragic story that is continuing to go on in her daughter's life and even in Marilee's life.
Yeah. And she's one of the first people we interviewed, isn't she?
I'm pretty sure she was, Becky. I don't remember doing an interview before that.
Yeah, because prior to doing interviews, we spent a lot of time doing specific domestic violence education.
Mhm.
And so those were some of my favorite episodes to record. Because, well, one, I told you I like to teach, but two, it's just so necessary.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many people have come to stay at the crisis center. And they, even when they call and say, I'm looking, I need a safe place or whatever else, they're not using those words domestic violence.
Yeah.
And so, or people will call and say, my friend told me that I should call you, but I'm not sure why I'm calling you. And so then we'll say something like, tell me about your situation. Well, in the course of that conversation, what we're very aware of is that person's experiencing domestic violence. We spent a lot of time talking about one of my favorite forms that we have at the crisis center that we call the abuse inventory checklist. And all that is taking the different types of abuse and breaking them down by examples of those types of abuse. And so many people have such a challenging time with that form because this happens, this happens, this happens, and this happens, and now you're telling me that's abuse. And so that's really hard. That's a hard acknowledgement for a person to make. And so in the beginning days of us first recording, we went through all of those things. What is domestic violence? How would you define it? What are the different types of abuse? All of that type of education. And those are some of my favorite recordings. The reason for that is they're timeless.
Mhm.
Those will never not be relevant.
Right.
Those will never not be accurate. Those will not ever be, oh, we've changed this now and now it's a new thing. They will never be that.
Mm-mm.
And so 20 years from now, somebody could be doing a YouTube search for domestic violence education, and one of those might pop up, and it will be as relevant, not elephant, relevant in 20 as the day that we recorded it. And so to me, that's so exciting to know that we've got something that's timeless like that we've put on the internet that anybody anywhere at any given time could see. And so those were the first episodes were some of my favorite.
I love that. How about the interviews we've done? Is there one that pops out, stands out to you?
It's going to sound self-serving, but the favorite interviews that we've done for me were when we interviewed my staff. Just because that was enjoyable for me, like when we interviewed Leah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I've known Leah since she was like 14. And so to see her tell her story in this forum, and then to tell us in the intimate details of what she's gone through and who she's become,
Mhm.
and what an incredible story of growth and change.
Right?
Love her story.
I do
And so
too.
got to play a part in it. And now she's working with me, and for us to be able to sit down and visit with her, I love that. Like that was so much fun for me. And then when we talked to Sunny and Shelly, they both worked for me for such a long time. They feel like family to me.
Yeah.
And so don't you love having conversations with your family?
Mhm.
And so the fact that we got to sit down and share their stories and the work that they do in this setting was so much fun to me as well. So those were probably my fun interviews. I loved hearing Marilee's story. I was outraged by her story. I felt energized. I'm not using my words very well tonight. I felt energized
Mhm.
to want to be involved in more legislative advocacy.
Yes.
She motivated me so strongly. And so to interview someone that motivates me like that, it's
Mhm.
fantastic. When we interviewed Wisdom,
Mhm.
Wisdom's story is amazing. The person,
Incredible.
what she experienced and the person that she's become, like anytime we've sat down and interviewed someone and we can see where they were,
Mhm.
how they went through it, and now where they are. Same way if I sat down and interviewed you, it'd be the same thing to see where you were, how you went through it, and to see where you are. Any stories of change like that just energize and motivate me so much.
They've always done that
The
for me
people
as
that we've
well.
interviewed. Yeah.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I just said I've loved the people that we've interviewed.
I have too. I've really enjoyed it. And there are times that my memory kind of comes and goes. So but those are definitely some of my tops. On Leah's interview, you mentioned that one. I still have hers in my editing program because there were so many nuggets that I can pull from that and make into Facebook reels that are just, mic dropping moments. And we got a bunch of those with Kim when we interviewed Kim Rittman.
And that was another one I was gonna say.
Special lady, yeah.
I loved interviewing her.
She and her husband are both physicians, and oh my goodness, her story was, I don't know. That was one of my favorites. It really was.
Me too.
Mhm.
When I first met Kim, Kim and I used to go to church together. And so when I first met Kim, I actually met her because my mom was her nurse. And so I happened to be going to pick my mom up from work for the day. And I walked to the doctor's office and she met me to Kim, introduced me to Kim. And there was an instant connection between Kim and I. We got each other, and we had a high level of respect for each other. And so meeting her that day and knowing who she is on that day, and then over time, as I like to know her, I got to learn her story. She became this role model for not just me, but many people, but just to see the struggles that she has endured,
Yeah, right.
what she's done with that, the level of faith that she has in the person that she's become is phenomenal to me. And so she definitely is, she's one of my heroes in life. And so anytime, and even though we've been personal friends, over time and such, she's still somebody I look at as like a hero of me, of mine. So anytime you get to sit and interview a hero, you get a little awestruck, I think, in that situation. But I loved our interview with her.
It was phenomenal.
Definitely one of the highlights. A funny story about that, I was talking to my dad, and my dad spends a lot of time on YouTube. And so he lives vicariously through videos, I think. But he was searching YouTube, and he found one of our videos. This particular video was one of the ones where we interviewed Kim. And he said, I didn't have any sound on. I just found the video and the video started playing. And so there was no words. He said, but the two of you in your conversation were so animated. He said, I had to listen to it. And so like, even with the sound off, I guess it was dynamic enough that it drew a person in. And so if anybody hasn't seen that, I strongly encourage them to take the time, because we had great conversation with her.
And I'm thinking that turned into 4 episodes. I know it was 3 for sure, but yes, I agree. I encourage you to watch that.
Yeah.
Very, very, very wise woman. I got now that one I was able to pick apart and edit and pull out all sorts of different nuggets from there. And I forget how many videos I got out of that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was phenomenal. And those also I plan to turn into reels.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about your plan for turning some of our into reels. What does that look like?
Well, the whole thing from beginning to end, I'll just give you a real snippet here. So like when we're done recording tonight, I will go ahead, and I have to wait for Zoom to download what we've recorded onto my computer. That can take up to about an hour, sometimes a little longer. And so I can't go to bed until that's done. And I have to stay close to the computer and keep jiggling the mouse. So that takes some time right there. Then when I'm ready to actually edit it, I upload it. Yeah, I upload it to, I currently am using Clipchamp. I'm not super thrilled with it. I've had to go to a different computer. I loved the program I had before, and I don't remember what it was. It was great. It was what I learned on, and I got comfortable with it, and I could get it down to the, I could get it down to where I could eliminate those kind of things out of there. But that will take, once I get it edited, and Nah, I better go backwards in time. So to edit it, then I already have our intro and our outro ready and then to sandwich on each end of the video itself when I get done. So let's say that it ends up being a 2-hour interview and I need to chop it up into 30-minute interviews that we can put on YouTube, right? So then I get it down to that, and I usually try to remember to say, okay, it's been a half an hour. Let's go ahead and stop here. We're going to make another episode. That makes it so much easier. You have no idea. So then I'll take it and I'll fast forward until I get to that spot. And then I just delete that other part and just work with this. Now it doesn't delete it from my program, from my computer completely, because remember I've uploaded it to that wonderful storage space. Okay, then I'll take and I'll chop out those things like you see the mistakes we've made tonight. Some things are for safety reasons for myself or somebody else. I need to take those out, or our interviewee will request, oh, can you edit that out? Okay, yes, I can do that. So I edit that out. Well, by the time it gets done and I have it all ready to go, then that can take up to an hour for it to completely finish doing what it's doing to compress it all into a video. So there's another hour, and I've taken as long as 12 hours to edit one episode. So the editing, I can't say that it's going to be a quick fix. It's not. So if you're wanting to get out onto YouTube or something like that and you want to do it, whatever you pay somebody, believe me, they earn it. They really do. So then from that point, then that downloads it from my Clipchamp onto my computer again. So, and in order to put it on YouTube, then I take and upload it to YouTube. And there's a lot of steps to that. And it takes at least an hour to upload it to YouTube once I'm get everything all done. It's the whole time I'm filling in the blanks and I'm creating everything you're going to be reading about it. It takes it's working on that, on uploading it while I'm doing that. Yet it still takes a good hour. Then it takes another hour to upload it into our safe place in the cloud where we store it, which and that whole time I need to stay with the computer and keep wiggling the mouse and make sure the computer doesn't go to sleep, because if it goes to sleep, then it'll either stop doing what it's supposed to be doing or it will slow it down incredibly. So I really need to stick with it there. And then if I'm going to put it on Facebook, for example, and say, hey, we got a new video out, new episode, new podcast, then that takes a little bit of time as well, because then I'm also tagging people in the process and making sure that they find out about it, because not everybody's going to follow my Facebook page. And so it's all a lot of, it's time consuming. And so doing this for several years, I've literally just gotten to the end of myself. And I just want to be very honest with you, the viewers. This is the last podcast we will be recording unless something new comes up that we need to record. After doing the second edition of my book and then recording the audio book, it threw me into a depression because I'd forgotten some of the things that I had lived through. And so I've been going through counseling now for a few months. She's helping tremendously, but I literally am just exhausted because I also work a full-time job. What I need to be able to do is I need to be able to retire, and then I can do this full time, but that's not the case. So Becky and I both work full-time jobs, and so this has just gotten to be too much. And we're at the end. We know that we have a wonderful assortment of topics out there that we feel is a complete. And if by chance something comes up, we can always do another episode, not a problem.
Which is why that was my question, is what's the plan with Reels? I you have a plan for the future of of how the work that we've done for the past 3 years, although I do believe it's timeless and I do believe it'll always be relevant, we're looking at new forms in social media to make it more user-friendly, more accessible. People are more inclined to watch a 5-minute reel or a 4-minute reel as opposed to a 45-minute video. And so I think that's one plan of action at some point, is we're looking at taking the content. I say we, but I know this is the work that's going to fall on you. Take the content that we have and turn it into reels. I know you have a plan of action for moving forward for some other things as well. What are those?
So I have tried to do YouTube shorts, and I've got to go back in there and reread the directions, watch the YouTube videos, instructional videos again, because it's supposed to be a certain amount of time that it can only be, I don't remember if it's a minute, 30 seconds or a minute for a YouTube short. So I've tried to do that. And so where I've really had success, I've taken what I had created as a YouTube short and I turned it into a Facebook reel. And we have had almost 300 views from one reel, which is way more than we've had on YouTube. So we now have had almost 300 views of our YouTube channel total, and we have 80, how many subscribers?
I think you said 86 or
Something
84.
like
And so that's the other thing, is we were really hoping with our 100th episode, it seemed all neat and tidy and awesome if we could have 100 subscribers. And so we're not quite there on the goal. So we're still encouraging people, if you watch our videos, please let somebody know and encourage them to subscribe to our channel as well. It's incredible information. And I'm not just saying that because I've helped create it. Incredible information. And so if you know anybody who's a victim of domestic or sexual violence, somebody of a victim, a friend of a victim, an employer of a victim, give them the information about this channel, because there really is information through the process. We still hope to get, is it 14 or 16 more people to subscribe to the channel?
at least.
At least. I mean, we're not, that can't be all, obviously, but our target right now is 100.
Exactly. And as you do that, like and subscribe, but then also, I agree with Becky, share it. Hit that share button, and there's all different ways you can do it. You can do it by email, you can do it by text, or just on and on and on. Come on, I don't even know all the different ways you can do that. But anyway, yes, I'm going to do Facebook Reels, and then the plan is to go ahead and take all of our YouTube videos and also put them on Rumble. So we'd be on YouTube and Rumble. And then there is a news station that allows people to put on their programs. You have to apply for it. You have to fill out a form, and it's free. There's no cost, which is exactly, that fits our budget, doesn't it, Becky?
Our favorite price.
Because we have not made a penny off of this. And if you think that I have made a lot of money off of this, you're wrong. There are months that go by that I don't make anything, and there were 2 months in a row. Becky, are you ready? Do I hear a drum roll? Yeah, there were 2 months where I made a penny.
Woo!
I know. It was like, yes, we can go to McDonald's. No, how about the machine?
Don't spend all that in one place. When I was a kid, you used to be able to buy like penny candy.
Right.
But I don't even think you can buy penny candy anymore.
I don't think so. So I just let that penny just slip into the account, and figured I'd spend it eventually.
There you go.
So we have not made a cent off of this, and this is exactly what we wanted to do. Our heart is not to become famous. We don't want to, get rich or anything like that. Our heart is simply to educate anybody and everybody who will listen as to what this is like, because statistics show us that you that is watching us right now, that you know several people who are in domestic violence, abusive situations, and that need to know, they need to learn not only that they are in that situation, but also how to escape success.
Yes. Yes. And so our goal from day one has only been to provide education,
Mhm.
100% free of charge, because everybody deserves to be educated.
Mhm.
And so if someone is in an abusive situation, they need to know that there is a way out, that if they escape from their abuser, there are plenty of resources, plenty of places who are willing to provide that support to help that person go from that place of being a victim to move into that survivor mode, and then to move past surviving to being a thriver. And that's been our goal all along, is free access to that type of education.
Mhm.
Knowledge is power.
Mhm. Mhm. It is.
We're wanting to see people be set free.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My life is so totally different, so completely different than what it was. Can't even begin to explain it to you. When I think back to what I was and where I am now, it's light years in difference. And I've said this before, it's like I've watched a movie over and over again. It's something I'm really familiar with. I know all the lines and I know what happens in the movie. But it was my life. It wasn't a movie. So yeah.
And the same experience on the other side, as someone who's worked at the crisis center for the multiple years that I've worked at the crisis center, I kind of feel like I've grown up there. I've given the better part of my life to doing that work. And so, um, in supporting and helping others, we also feel supported and helped.
Mhm.
And helping you grow, I grow. And so the countless numbers of victims that I've had the opportunity to work with, as I watch them become survivors and then thrivers, I in turn thrive on that. And so it's a full circle situation where we are providing a service to help people out. But the fact that these people are trusting us,
Yeah.
they're willing to partner with us on this healing journey, we both win. Because we get to walk that journey with someone, and then we get to see them fly out of that cage. And then we get to watch them soar. And that's an incredible gift that people are willing to give us as the people that work in the shelters. So,
What is that like?
sorry?
What is that? I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were still talking. There's just,
No,
yeah, we step on each other.
yeah. I was just saying, it means as much to us when someone like you goes through the program and does what you've done. It means as much to us as it does to you.
When you as you watch these women, it's usually women that come through your shelter, and you watch them and they leave, and you know they're going to be successful, or that they have the ability to, and maybe you never hear from them again, but just watching them after they've been through your program, and maybe they've been through the what's your second step program, what's that called? They can stay there.
Or a transitional housing program?
Yes, the
Yeah.
transitional housing. And when they leave that transitional housing, I mean, what is that like? How do you feel when you watch?
Crazy. I mean, because we see people come broken and beaten.
Yeah.
They come to us many times with the clothing on their back, with no job, with no car, with no childcare if they have children. They come to us with nothing.
Mhm.
And so people that come in and they truly do participate in every facet of the program, they glean from us as much as they can glean, and then they take that and they use that on their journey to leave the program and become the best version of themselves. It's phenomenal. It's amazing to see somebody do that. I can't take any credit for it because I didn't do it. So it's not my success. And so I can't look at that and be like, yay, look what I did, because I didn't do anything.
Right.
The person who's been in that experience and is committed to changing their life, and they change their lives, the reward is I get to see them change their life. And
Yep.
so it's like watching a movie with a happy ending.
Mhm.
I didn't write the book. I didn't write the movie. I got to watch it. And when you watch movies that are feel good movies and they have a happy ending, even if there was moments of trauma during that movie, but it ends on a high note, how do you feel?
Oh, I feel just all uplifted and excited. Yeah,
That's how I feel.
love it.
But it's not my success. I didn't do it. You know, that's the thing. And somebody who's truly in the helping profession needs to step back and look and say, I didn't do that because I didn't.
Yeah.
Now, if every time that person came and they asked me a question, I had an answer for them, I helped them on their journey. But they took that answer and they either translated that into the change they wanted, or they took that answer and they poo-pooed on it and they did nothing with it. That's out of my hands. So I can look and say, well, I did a good job answering that question. But what that person does with that, that's what creates perceived success. You know, we've talked about that before. I can't put levels of judgment on what choices a person makes or the decision that they make. But when I do see someone who has taken all of these things and put them together in a way that they just thrive like crazy, I get that feel good feeling of that was a great experience. I got to watch this person come in here in this broken state, and now I get to watch them leave in this super strong, empowered state. And they did all of that, and I'm in all of that. And so, in the same way that I said a little while ago, I look at Kim Rittman as one of my heroes. I look at the residents of the crisis center when they come through, and I know where they were when they got there. And they take all of these tools that they're given, and they build the most incredible thing with these tools. And then they go forth and conquer, so to speak. I'm in awe. They're my heroes. I get to spend day after day after day with people that I look at as heroes, and that's phenomenal.
How,
And I mean that 100% sincerely. I'm not blowing smoke. I mean that sincerely.
yeah. And I'll tell you, viewers, that whatever Becky says, she means it. She doesn't horse around with words. It's literally how she feels.
Yeah. And so I have that same enthusiasm about what we've done with this channel over the years, what the information that we've shared, because I believe that someone has found, and when they found us, they were in that broken state. And they've listened to the videos that we've created, and they've gleaned from them the knowledge that they've needed to glean. And they've taken those tools and they've built something amazing with it. We'll never know them.
Right.
We'll never see them, but I know that they're there. And so the fact that we've been able to do this for the past few years, and I truly believe the information that we share has the ability to change lives. I'm just so thankful that you reached out to me and said, will you do this with me? I'm so thankful that I've been able to partner with you over the past couple of years, 3 years, and do what we've done. I'm so proud of the work that we've created. I'm so proud of every aspect of it. I'm so proud of you in the way that you started this with not having any idea to do any of this editing. And you've done a phenomenal job with it and the commitment that you've shown. Thank you. Just thank you for your commitment to the time to create fantastic work. I'm so proud of it.
Thank you. I am just every episode when we end it and I say thank you so much, and I mean that, and I feel the same way of what you just expressed. It's just been such a blessing to be able to work with you on this, and I honestly, I could never have done it myself. Obviously, if I could only come up with 10 minutes on my own, there's no way I could have done this. So it's just been such an honor, and I've just grown to just appreciate you and love you even more, just as a human being. Just was highly impressed with you when I was at the crisis center, and I just loved our conversations. They never ceased to amaze me as to how enriching they were and how enriched I was when I left. Taking all those wonderful pieces with me that you gave me, and took it home with me, and ruminated on them, thinking about them, and to be able to then work with you and take that same information. It's been so cool at almost every single episode and I'll hear you say something as you respond to a question or whatever our guest is talking about. And I remember you saying the exact same words when I was a resident at the crisis center. And it's just so awesome to be able to hear that be repeated so that other people can glean from it too, not just me. It's not a selfish thing at all. It's like, here, I'm going to send it out to, on the internet so that anybody can find it.
Yeah. And so that's why I say what we've done is timeless.
Yes.
Because domestic violence doesn't change. It is what it is.
Mhm.
And people who experience it experience what they experience. And what we've given in these videos is we have really given them the tools to
Mhm.
be educated, to be empowered, to
Mhm.
make choices, hopefully, that help them escape from their abuser and be safe. And so I feel like everything that we've done has been motivated to do that, and that will never go away.
Right.
So because we've decided to take a hiatus from this, and we've talked about, if something new would happen and we want to make a short video or reels, like you and I are not done working together.
No.
We're done working together in this forum for a time. And, in 6 months, if we pick it back up, so be it. If we never pick it back up again, so be it. The work that we've done is timeless. And so I just want to encourage people that have subscribed that we're still going to be around and we are still available. Like if you watch a video and you have questions and you don't know what to do with that question, our contact information is provided on a YouTube channel. We're always willing, or whatever else, we're more than willing to reach out and respond in whatever way that we can.
I still
So
haven't had anybody email me. Have you?
I have not, which I'm surprised by, honestly.
I am
But
too. So I think that would be the best way for you to get a hold of me. I know personally, because I'm not going to be posting anything on YouTube on a regular basis. I'm not going to be going in there and checking for comments. So I think the best way for you to reach us is by email, and that will be, of course, very confidential.
mhm. Same with me. Absolutely 100% confidential.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I would love to entertain any conversation through me, email or whatever else need be. Absolutely.
I think that would be great. And the
Yeah.
only thing that may not be timeless on what we've done are you remember the hair montage that you thought of?
I love the hair montage. That was fantastic.
I had more fun doing that, and it's not done yet because see, I've changed my hairstyle so many times since that last picture that was in the hair montage. So that will be updated. That was probably
There
one
you
of the most fun things I did, besides Chris and his alphabet legs.
go.
That would be on the Kim Rittman
Yes,
episodes, yes.
that's a good one
Actually, I
too.
cut that out from the episodes and I turned that into shorts, I believe.
Yeah, I've
Oh, yeah.
watched it. It's very funny.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. All I have to do is think about that. I can start laughing.
Mhm. Yeah,
Is there
me too.
anything you want to say besides that as we wrap up?
I feel like I've said my piece. Thank you. I mean, thank you to you, our viewers who watched the videos that we've put up. Thank you for your comments. We've gotten multiple comments over the years that have been incredibly encouraging. People have appreciated what we've done, and so I am appreciative of that. Thank you for this, again, the opportunity and for having the skill set and the knowledge to make this turn into something other than just you and I sitting here and talking. I've loved our format of we never know really what we're gonna do. We just open our mouth and we stop talking or we start talking and something good seems to come out of that. And so just thank you for being so easy to have a conversation with.
Oh,
Thank
back
you for
at
your
you.
support. Thank you for your prayer support for me, for my staff, for the work that we do, for my family. Thank
Absolutely.
you for all of that. I just really enjoyed our time together. I'm so glad we've had this time together.
Don't forget to tug your hair. We might be showing our age, but that's from the Carol Burnett show. If you don't know, she was one of my favorite comedians. Oh
Me
my,
too.
oh my goodness. Oh yeah, yeah.
What about you? Any final thoughts?
I back at you for everything you just said. It's identical coming from me to you. And this is not something that comes natural. I will say this at the right here at the very end here. This does not come natural to either one of us. I had to learn how to edit, how to create things. It took me about 2 weeks is what you're looking at when you look at the intro and the outro. That's the beginning and the end of our episodes each week. That just to do those two little pieces that are not even, I don't even think they're 30 seconds each. That took about 2 weeks to learn how to do that because it was just nothing I had ever done before, nothing I ever thought I would do before. I never thought I would be doing this ever. If I had not been requested to start with a TV show, this would never have happened. So yeah, this goes against our very guarded and
Introverted nature.
yeah, it doesn't go with our nature at all to do this, to be on camera. So it's been an experience. It really has, and I wouldn't have wanted to go through it with anybody but you, Becky, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely appreciate all your prayer support for myself and my health and my family and everything. It's been phenomenal.
I agree.
We've spent a lot of time talking off camera, folks. A lot of time, longer talking off camera than we did on camera. So it's been a wonderful thing to be able to just get to know you better and spend time with you. I look forward to doing this, in the future, just for the two of us, just to be able to talk since we're so far away from each other, to be able to actually see you and see how you're doing. But folks, thank you so much. I agree with Becky. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for the like and subscribe that you've done through the years. And we will probably be seeing you in the future, if nothing else, through reruns and reels. And remember that no matter where you are in the process, you're always free to soar.
Bye.
Bye.